Hi there, it's Darlene. I hope you're doing well. So, I've been trying to figure out what the 7-figure accelerator actually is because it was giving off such pyramid scheme vibes to me. Remember, I was calling it a pyramid scheme without the pyramid? Yeah, I finally figured it out though. And so, I'm going to be showing you this tonight as to the type of pyramid scheme it actually is. And frankly, the legal repercussions for the people, well, not, yeah, legal, but the criminal charges that the people that are selling this system can actually be up against. So I appreciated, first of all, this fellow here. This is, wow, I was almost hooked, but something about it seemed like an MLM. See, he got the same vibe that I did. And then he Googled it, he saw my stuff, and they said, it dawned on me that why is this person from TikTok pushing me to do this if he doesn't need me to be involved? That is brilliant. Exactly. Well, you know what? I've heard this saying before too, is that if you don't know what the product is, then you are the product. And that's precisely with this system. There is no product. It's a system that sells a system that sells a system. You are the product. So, in my comments just the other day, want a big shout out to Woodham94. Yes, WGMM94. And he kept trying to send this, and YouTube kept deleting it on him. So he had to really try to get this through. But I was noticing, I actually noticed it come up on my notifications. And then I had to go looking for it. And I thought, why can't I find this? And yeah, finally found it in analytics. And yeah, I had to go into the back end and look for it there. So found it. And thank you. So as this person, he or she, said, a link to the New York Attorney General's office that explains the nuances of MLMs versus pyramid schemes, and gave me this link. I'll be honest, when I first saw New York Ag's office, I thought, what would the New York Department of Agriculture have to do with this? Yeah, Attorney General's office. I found that out. Well, let's have a look at that site, actually. Yeah, so this is an awesome website here. The New York State Attorney General's office. Well, I mean, if you really want to read up on pyramid schemes, it's a great website to send your kids to. Well, no, I think they'd be bored. Anyways, so they're looking at like the difference between what is a pyramid scheme as compared to an MLM. You know, are they interchangeable? Are these terms interchangeable? And it's like, no, they aren't actually. So let's look at what is a pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is a fraudulent system of making money based on recruiting an ever-increasing number of investors. Well, that is precisely what 7-figure Accelerator does. You are recruiting people by selling them this product that sells itself. Yes, you can give it that band-aid that, oh, you can sell anything with it. But the fact of the matter is, anybody wants to make money, they have to sell this system, which is the same as recruiting investors. What is the difference? You're recruiting people into the program. That's all you're doing. Not you, but those that are in there. The initial promoters recruit investors, who in turn recruit more investors. Ding, ding, and so on. Exactly. Now, here's where it breaks off a bit. The scheme is called a pyramid because at each level, the number of investors increases. The small group of initial promoters at the top require a large base of later investors to support the scheme by providing profits to the earlier investors. What if you could fix that and make it last longer? So take out that sentence about the scheme is called a pyramid because at each level, the number of investors increases. Okay, and actually think about that for a sec. Okay, you know how a pyramid scheme is shaped. Pyramid scheme. Yeah, it's like a pyramid because at each level as it goes down, there's more and more and more and more people until the amount needed for the bottom level of people, the final tier of people, it's an impossible number of people, and by then it's become unsustainable. Nobody else wants to buy into it, and then the whole thing collapses. Well, what happens if you don't have that actual pyramid structure? What if you've got, say, one guy at the top, like let's just say Philip Johansen, and everybody under him is selling for him and for themselves because they get 50%, he gets 50%. And then when you recruit another person, they don't get recruited below you onto a lower tier than you. And so this is where it departs from an MLM, but rather they are recruited to the same tier as you. Okay. So rather than having the pyramid, it's like one at the top and then an ever increasing base, but only a base. Okay. Everybody is like recruited into that tier 1 position. But who cares? The guy at the top doesn't care because he's getting 50% of the commissions everybody's hauling in. And then that their friends are hauling in, and that their friends are hauling in, and then their friends. The only thing he's doing is cutting out the middlemen distributors, right? We've only got 2 steps here. Still a pyramid, but it's not got the pyramid shape. So, and yeah, it is going to need a large base of investors. And although you're not going to see that base in a pyramid shape, because there are more investors coming in and in and in, even at the same tier, the later ones aren't going to be able to make money because the market gets saturated, okay? And that's already happening. People who are in there now aren't able to make it work, aren't able to sell any. Now, I just want to digress for a minute and talk to you about market saturation. Now, here is a letter I just got in my email, and I know this sounds like I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but it all has to do with it, okay? Yes, on April 28th, I made my very first sale on JVZoo. I made $10 whole. Yes, I did. And the funny part is that I have not signed up to become an affiliate of any vendors there for like 4 years. It's got to be in there. It's at least 3 years. Okay. And I looked at it. It's like, I don't even recognize the product. I don't even know where it came from. It must be off of one of my websites. Oh man, that's amazing. Anyways, the reason why I brought this up, look at, first of all, congratulations, yada, yada. This might seem like a small thing, but it's actually a pretty big deal. Yeah, right. You have just made more money online than 99% of people ever will. That means that only 1% of the people out there in the world are making their money online. Okay? Only 1%. So, for those that think, the market's never going to dry up, well, it's not like everybody in the entire world wants your product. I mean, why would JVZoo, put out this? But, again, it could be an average whatever, but you get the idea, and that's straight from JVZoo. So, for those selling this product, you are only dealing with that 1%. And to further define that demographic, it's the 1% that can afford to cough up with $2,500 or can afford to go out and get a loan for it. So that's going to narrow that down even more. At some point, the market has to be saturated. Now let's go back to that website. So back to paragraph 3 here. Pyramid schemes may or may not involve the sale of products or distributorships. The trend is to involve sale of products or distributorships in an attempt to show legitimacy. Okay? This is done solely to sidestep the regulatory agencies, as most state laws prohibit marketing practices where the potential for profit stems primarily from recruiting other investors and not from the sale of products. Now, see, just stop there. That's precisely what it is with Seven-Figure Accelerator. They're not making their money from selling other products. Like, as they say, you can sell whatever product you want. That's not how they're making their money. That's not how they're making the vast majority of their money. It's by reselling the product itself. And that is what makes it a pyramid scheme, okay? Because they don't have a product to sell. The bottom line, however, is that in all pyramid schemes, the selling of a product itself is much less important than the recruiting of new investors. Well, with seven-figure accelerator, that's all you're doing is recruiting, is selling this product that sells itself. That's all you're doing is recruiting new investors. So then it looks at what is multi-level marketing. And basically, yes, there is, definitely there is, recruitment happening there, but the main focus is on the product or service. Now, so like think of Avon, Tupperware, Pampered Chef, okay? Yes, you can become a salesperson for them. Yes, I was an Avon lady back in the day. And yes, I had an upline, as does, Tupperware, as I said, Pampered Chef, or any of those. Those are successful MLMs. There's nothing wrong with an MLM. It's just unfortunate because most pyramid schemes are structured after MLMs, right? So not all MLMs have to be pyramid schemes, and not all pyramid schemes have to be in the shape of an MLM. So look at this under what are the differences between a legitimate MLM and a pyramid scheme. A legitimate MLM emphasizes reliable products or services. A pyramid scheme uses products or services to disguise its quest for collecting money from the investors on the bottom levels to pay for other investors further up the pyramid. Okay, but if it's just on the same level, well, you still have to keep selling to keep those big bucks coming in, especially if you've quit your job or done something stupid like that. Or you go on a circuit of selling high-ticket product after high-ticket product and high-ticket product, like in my last video that I showed, how many of those people are just moving from product to product to product. But either way, this is still it's just multiple pyramid schemes out there. Now, and then it continues, in a typical pyramid scheme, new investors must pay a fee for the right to sell the products or services, as well as for the right to recruit others into the pyramid for rewards unrelated to the product sales or services. This describes Philip Johansen's product to a T. Okay, you have to pay for the right to sell this product. That's $2,500 you got to pay at the very beginning. And then that makes you an affiliate for this product, okay? It's the only way to become an affiliate for the product and to be able to resell it, okay? I can't resell it. Like, they won't accept anybody else to resell the product. You have to pay that fee for the right to sell the product. And then are we surprised? Like when he says, we do 90% of the work for you. Horseshit. Well, yes, if you had to learn it all yourself, yeah, that would be a ton of work. But no, just like any pyramid scheme, even an MLM that does it right, there's training, right? They send you training stuff, and they send you training and they do certain amount of stuff for you, like in the way of packaging or whatever, okay? Sure. So Philip can set up your autoresponder for you. He can set it up with all kinds of emails, and you know what? They're all going to look the same from person to person to person because they're all using the same email swipes. And then he sets up the funnel through ClickFunnels. Well, it's already done. It's just a matter of adding your name. Like, this stuff is so blindingly easy for him. It doesn't take more than an hour or two to set up. And then you're off to the races. And here's your instructions on how to go sell the program. And we'll put you in this Facebook group where everybody will encourage you on, will rah the program to make you stay in there and keep you happy. And then there will be weekly meetings with Philip himself, the leader. That's kind of the least he can do, isn't it? Oh my God. But yeah. And it just keeps the pot stirring and keeps everybody shut up and staying in there. So here under why do pyramid schemes always fail and why do legitimate MLM companies sometimes survive? And here's also what I was saying about the scarcity problem. Pyramid schemes are doomed to fail because their success depends on the ability to recruit more and more investors, since there are only a limited number of people in a given community. All pyramid schemes will ultimately collapse. Now, when you think about that word community, this isn't a geographic community. It's not like your neighborhood or your city or your country. No, it's a community of interest. Okay, so what is the community that Seven Figure Accelerator is being sold to? Online marketers. JV Zoo says that this is what percentage of the population? 1%. And it's even less than that when you consider that 1% that can and will pay the $2,500. Yeah, that's why this is going to collapse as well. Now, the ones that are smart, like, Philip and Mosh Berry, Dan Can, Jonah Armstrong, Johnny Rose, Ashley Perry, and so many, many, many more, Karen Merrow, all these ones, they're just going to jump ship and go to the next one. You going to have the $2,500 to do that with them? Or are you going to be left holding the bag behind because you haven't been able to make any sales? Or you haven't even made enough to recoup your initial investment, and God forbid that you went into debt to get this. Holy cow. So again, with that last sentence, the last sentence of that first paragraph, the only people who make money on these are those... The only people who make money are those few who are on the top of the pyramid. So although it's not that pyramid structure again, right? But there are definitely people on the top. There is Philip at the very top, and all lines do lead to him. But there are the more experienced people. And don't forget that this program has been going since last June. It's nearly a year old. Why do you think that all of them are stepping up their sales big time? The YouTubers are come crawling out of the walls, even calling them Seven Figure Accelerator like Johnny Rose. Philip's emails have increased like crazy. I am getting probably 8 of them a day. Like, my God, they're stepping up their pace, right? They know that they have to, because what else are they going to move on to? Well, I'll be interested to see, actually. Now, one of the things that I really appreciated about this site was something I didn't dwell on first of all. So here's back at the top here. Look at that second sentence. Pyramid schemes are illegal in New York State as well as in many other states. Article whatever the general business law of the state of New York sets forth the criminality of initiating and participating in pyramid schemes. Okay, so that's, yes, the ones initiating it, in this case, Philip Johansen and anybody that's in cahoots with him, but also those participating in it. Every time you sell someone this product, you are participating in a pyramid scheme. But what really got me here is also known as chain distributor schemes. I had never heard that term before. So I let Google be my friend. Look what I found out. So chain distributor schemes, here's the definition. A chain distributor scheme is a sales device whereby a person, upon a condition, makes an investment and is granted a license or right to solicit for profit. Okay? That's exactly, as I said, what Philip Johansen is doing. Additional persons are also granted such license or right upon condition of making an investment and may further perpetuate the chain of persons who are granted such license upon such condition. Tell me how that differs from the seven-figure accelerator. I can't see the difference, and we're going to see more. And notice at the end of the second paragraph where it says, chain distributor scheme is also known as pyramid sales. There you go. Now, here we've got another. Examples of pyramid or chain distributor scheme in a sentence. Well, it doesn't really, but okay. It means a sales device whereby a person, upon a condition that he part with money, property, or any other thing of value, is granted a franchise license, distributorship, or other right, which person may further perpetuate the pyramid or chain of persons who are granted such franchise, license, distributorship, or right upon such condition. Well, so it says right here, it doesn't have to be a pyramid. It says perpetuate the pyramid or chain of persons. It is just when you are selling a person the right to resell this same product, this same scheme, okay? And that is the only thing that you are reselling. In this case, it's a product that only perpetuates this scheme. Okay? Now here, it's just slightly different wording. Chain distribution plans or pyramid sales schemes. So chain distribution schemes are just I think they're like a subset of pyramid schemes. They are still a pyramid scheme. They're just a slightly different structure. Although it seems that they are now narrowing the focus or getting down to the brass tacks is what I think of it as to what actually makes a pyramid scheme a pyramid. Does it mean that MLM type structure, or are we down to this description? Because this description is a far better, or all of these descriptions are far better as to what makes a pyramid scheme a pyramid scheme. And it doesn't have to be in that MLM shape, but it's still selling something to sell something that is going to blow up at some time because there is no real product. Chain distribution plans means sales devices whereby a person, upon condition that he makes an investment, is granted by the manufacturer of his representative a right to recruit for profit one or more additional persons who will also be granted such right to recruit upon condition of making similar investments, provided that the profits of the person employing such a plan are derived primarily from the recruitment of other people into the plan, rather than from the sale of consumer products. Well, with the infinity system, there is no product. You are strictly selling people the right to get into the plan. You're selling people on the right to become affiliates. And as I said, most companies, they do that for free. You know, they'll do all the recruiting and then they'll do all this stuff for free. But here, you have to pay for it. And that's what makes it a pyramid scheme. Let's see what the legalities of this are, the actual criminal consequences. So, you know, when you're reading something, technical on the web and you're trying to find information and they have all these little footnotes, all these little links in blue all over the place, like on this page. I have been going through those like crazy from every article I've been reading about this and just trying to check and check and check and check. That's why I keep on coming up with these different pages. But also then some take you to the laws. So let's check out what the Delaware Code has to say under commerce and trade. I found this quite interesting. So, and notice it's chapter here. Yeah. 6, pyramid or chain distribution schemes. So they lump up pyramid or chain distribution schemes all in one. So person means an individual, corporation, whatever. Pyramid or chain distribution scheme means, and you're going to see, notice you've been hearing the same wording over and over again. So this is repeated amongst many states, not just one. Means a sales device whereby a person, upon a condition that the person part with money, property, or any other thing of value, is granted a franchise license, distributorship, or other right, which person may further perpetuate the pyramid or chain of persons who are granted such franchise license, distributorship, or right upon such condition. So, again, you pay for the right to sell that system, that scheme. A limitation as to the number of persons who may participate, or the presence of additional conditions upon the eligibility for such a franchise, license, distributorship, or other right, recruit, or upon the receipt of profits therefrom, does not change the identity of the scheme as a pyramid or chain distribution scheme. So basically, they can tweak it all they want so that it, but we've got, we've got it numbered, we've got it down to this many people because only this many can, participate or whatever because of some stupid loopholes. No, because if what they're being seen is that their main business function is selling the system to somebody else, and that's all it does, except for maybe some sham objects, maybe some little things on the side like, sure, you can sell whatever you want. No, if the main way of making money is just reselling the system, it's a pyramid scheme, period. Actually, it's a chain distribution scheme, but, potato, potato. So, unlawful practice. The use of a pyramid or chain sales distribution scheme in connection with the solicitation of investments in the form of money, property, or any other thing of value is hereby declared to be an unlawful practice under, what is that subsection? 2513 of this title. Prohibition. No person, either directly or through the use of agents or other intermediaries, shall promote, sell, attempt to sell, offer, or grant participation in a pyramid or chain distribution scheme. So this doesn't just mean the top people. This is everybody that is promoting and selling these schemes to other. So every time someone sells the 7-figure accelerator, they are promoting the scheme. B. Whoever, directly or through the use of agents or intermediaries, violates subsection A of this section shall be fined not more than $5,000 or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. Yep. You want that to be you? And the Superior Court's the only one that has exclusive jurisdiction of this. Contracts void and civil liability. Any contract made in violation of this section, 63, or the one right above prohibition, of this title shall be void, and any person who directly or through the use of agents or intermediaries induces or causes another person to participate in a pyramid or chain distribution scheme shall be liable to that person in an amount equal to the sum of. So this is for you people selling the 7-figure accelerator, okay? This is how much you are liable to each person you sell to. 1, twice the amount of any consideration paid. So what's double 2,500? And 2, in the case of any successful action to enforce such liability, the costs of the action together with a reasonable attorney's fee as determined by the court. You want to put yourself in front of this kind of stuff? Like, this is crazy. B, an action under this section may be brought in any court in this state otherwise having jurisdiction over the dollar amount being sought by way of recovery from within 1 year from the date on which the consideration was paid. So that's interesting, is that you're not just down to a 30-day cooling off period if you need to go back after this. Well, at least not to be able to say that this is a pyramid scheme. You've got a year to take any specific action. That's rather interesting, I find. I think it's useful going forward. Because I know that there are people that are trying to get out of this. And I mean, the cancellation policy, like the refund policy being as hidden as it is and being the fact that there is none, that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. That you can do, that's almost enough to do a chargeback on, but I'm not sure that it is. Now, if this gets shown to be a pyramid scheme, then there's all kinds of things you can do. Now, of course, this changes from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So in the states, it looks like, from what I just read, is that it differs from state to state. However, it looks like they're almost all using, the ones that are using it, the ones I've seen, are almost using almost the exact same wording. and that the majority of the states use it. Now, for Canada, it's a federal law here, so it's for the entire country, and I would have to think that the UK would be the same, absolutely. Yeah. And so it's up to our federal government. It's still saying that pyramid schemes are illegal, and it is illegal for you to participate in one and to be part of it and to be promulgating it. Okay? That's all illegal. I didn't look up the laws elsewhere, but I got to be figuring that there must be a lot of laws like this out there, and not just in Canada and the United States and UK, but what about all across Europe? It's got to be that way. Australia, probably not places like Indonesia, but still, in this case, we're not dealing with Indonesia, are we? Anyways, that's the skinny of it. If you're part of the scheme, you're culpable. It's on your back, too. You might want to start thinking of that and going forward and reporting it if you're in it, and realize what you're doing and how you're screwing over other people that are getting in after you. Sure, you can go skip to the next program, but the people coming in now, they won't have that kind of knowledge, that savvy. You know that. They're going to be left behind while you continue to go make more money if you are one of those top marketers. The rest, well, you're going to be left behind, and God help you if you quit your job and got into debt for this, or went into debt with all that fresh money that you got pouring in and bought stupid things. It's all going to come tumbling down like a house of cards. Beware. Ding, 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 ding. Just as a disclaimer, I am not a lawyer, nor am I a financial planner or analyst or government agent or anything important. I'm just a person that likes to do research and put it in front of people. Disclaimer. Ding, 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 ding. Over now. Anyways, this channel is supported through donations. And if you have found this to be of useful use to you, if you've saved any money, if this has helped you to avoid the program, hey, do you think you can use my donation link and just send me a cup of coffee? The donation link is at the top of the description. No, it's at the bottom of the description and the top of the comments. I always get that mixed up. Please like and subscribe, especially subscribe. I really need subscribers. Thank you so very much. And you have a great day, evening, whatever. Darlene out.